Tony Khan has fired the first shot in the bidding war of 2024. Welcome to the Wrestling Council. Welcome to the Wrestling Council. I'm your host, Comic Book Bob. As always, by my good friend Hollywood Frank.
HW, baby.
Representing Bullet Club Gold.
If you're not down with that, I got two words for you. Guns up.
Catch us here every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, talking about all news in wrestling. And holy crap, there's a bunch. You can also check us out at our social media. It's crawling over there. It will be in the description eventually. I had a little bit of a mishap today, so I wasn't able to put it in immediately, but we'll get back to that. Before we do, blood is sweeter than water, dude.
Just ask Hangman.
Dude, that friggin' that Texas death match was insane, man. It was nuts. I'll tell you what, though, he did a good job. They put Swerve over. I think that was the right move.
About time he wins over somebody.
Yeah. Well, no, Swerve's like this last 6 months, man. Swerve's been doing good. They've been doing a good job with him.
Yes.
So I expect he'll be in one of the title scenes here very shortly. So, but yeah, it was interesting, man. But it was a good show. Did you guys watch? Did you guys watch Full Gear?
Yeah.
Not the whole thing, at least yet. But I had to watch that match in particular because when people told me I didn't believe it, I didn't want to just see the clip.
Oh yeah, dude. It was definitely a Texas death match.
Well, yes and no.
It was brutal, but
Texas death matches have a specific set of rules.
Yeah. Well, it was about as close as we're gonna get. So, but real quick before we go any further, let's go ahead and check in with the chat. Big Daddy Guardian Chaos was here first. He said, "What's up? What's up, Big Daddy?
What's up?
What's up?
What's up?
What's up?
What's up?
Hello.
What's up?
What's up?"
What's up?
Appreciate you guys being here. Yeah, I missed you last week. I wasn't feeling well. I was really sick, under the weather. So we opted to just put it off until next week.
You almost missed me today. Like you ever heard a lightning that was like so close to the thunder that it was pretty much next to your house?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I saw your thing talking about how you guys lost power and everything.
Yeah, he blew up like a transformer in the power line near the house. It was the second time that happened. Like
you live out in the jungle, man. Like there's only one transformer for like 100 miles. So Madeline Stevens here said, "Sup, people, happy Thanksgiving." Yeah, appreciate that, man. Oh my God, I've been running all over the place today, getting ready for Thursday. But late and fake geek girl. What the hell? What? Who? What?
That's
I don't
new.
know. I'm confused.
So am I.
But appreciate you guys being here, and anybody else that will slowly be trickling in. But yep, as always, though, before we get started into our main topic, we got a little something we like to do called and it is the GBU. It is you this week, isn't it, Frank?
I'm the odd man.
Yeah, you get all the good stuff.
109.
Yeah, 109. Yep, all the odd ones. So, yep, Frank, what you got?
It's done, baby.
Yeah.
It is finally finished.
Ouch. A lot of pain, man.
Rob doesn't want to put the spotlight on me.
Oh, wait, no. Well, you've got the thing too, man. Go for it. Yeah. Look at that. Old Glory. Got the bald eagle in the back. Good stuff, man. Good stuff.
Bam.
Nice.
Ah,
But what you got, brother?
That's good for me, but let's see. It's good for wrestling. I won't take the topic because we know what's that about. So we'll save that for later.
Yep, take what you want, man.
Well, that's our
Yeah.
topic for today. So I'll save that, which is a good thing to do. But yeah, my good is Full Gear this past weekend.
Some good stuff.
It did the right thing. Tony Storm and
Julia
Hart, the new women's champions. They deserved it. Tony Storm has been phenomenal with her storyline.
Yep.
And Julia Hart, just as good with the House of Black. Right decision to put both of them over, give them a shot at title run. I think Statlander's title run has been a little bit flat.
It has.
So let's see what these two ladies can do with the new belts. So I'm excited. Tony Storm is probably the hottest thing female wrestler in AEW right now.
Yeah, I get it that some people are gonna say she deserves better, but business is business. Like Tony had to win.
Yeah, it's whether and here's the thing: it's not any fault of her own. It's just the booking for Statlander has not been great.
No.
So,
my bad is unfortunately Mr. Bang Bang, the Juice Man, is banged up.
Yep.
Another week, another injury.
Oh yeah, there's been several, and yeah, he's out for at least the rest of the year with back surgery.
Yeah. So hopefully recover soon and can get back in the ring because him and if they're not going to put the main title on Jay White, him and Juice deserve a tag run.
Yeah.
Because that match with them versus FTR was probably one of the matches of the year.
Oh, yeah.
We'll get to that next month when we do our best of 2023.
Yes, sir. Best of 2023.
And then my ugly is all the wahad babies crying because of the subject of our topic, signed with AEW.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's amazing what one thing changing will cause people to just completely go back on everything they're saying. Ospreay went from being the most amazing performer and the next big thing to he's not that great, he's not that big a deal.
Crybaby E fans,
jeez,
who are butthurt because he signed with AEW.
Yep.
Sorry. He made the better decision for himself and his career. So
yeah. Like I said, we said, it all depended on what he wanted, and he decided that what he wanted was freedom. So hey, I ain't gonna take that from the dude. But cool deal, man. All right. So my GBU.
New Japan.
New Japan World Tag League has kicked off. Like I said, there's several.
You got it right.
Yeah, it's it's always gonna. I'm always gonna leave with something New Japan, man. World Tag League is like it's one of the best. Like I said, nobody does tournaments like New Japan. Although AEW is gonna try. With this new one, it's basically it's basically a scaled down version of the G1. So
I'm not saying I hope it's gonna be a mess, but I think it's gonna be a mess.
Well, so far, like they've announced, there's only 4 people that have been announced, so there's 8 more people to go. And so far, I'm not mad at the people that are in it so far. Bryan Danielson, Andrade, Eddie Kingston, and Mark Briscoe. I ain't mad at that.
Nope.
I'm not mad at the participants. I might be mad at what the toy owner might decide to do with it.
Well, that's true. And the thing is usually the tournaments, like I said, if he's taking his cues from New Japan, usually the tournaments, they come out, people who don't usually get a chance to shine usually get some good matches in the G1 and, World Tag League and whatnot. So it's the time that you build they use the tournament to build stars. And that's what AEW should do. Definitely you're going to have some of your top guys in there. And probably one of them is going to end up winning, but this is a time to let other people shine.
Yep.
And I'm hoping that he's taking his cues from them, and that's what he's going to do. So that's one of my GBUs. The other GBU is something that's connected to what we were talking about. The possibility it is now been all but confirmed that MJF has re-signed with AEW. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. It's still not 100% official, but all the scuttlebutt coming out, especially it's the same people that broke the Ospreay story. They're saying that in secret back when we originally thought, and this is what we all originally thought this. We thought that as soon as Tony put him over and everything, you're not going to put over a guy who's going to be leaving your company. So, but that's good. The bad. Obviously the injuries, Juice Robinson, you mentioned him, but also MJF. MJF has a shoulder and hip injury. He's not expected to miss any TV time, but they are going to go a little bit easy on him going forward, which I think is a good idea because I think he's been overexposed during his title run, especially lately. Doesn't need to be wrestling 2 matches on the same freaking card. So, once again, the injury bug hitting. Luckily, like I said, Juice is going to the surgery that Juice is getting is going to be fairly minor. They're expecting he'll miss the rest of the year, but he should be back very early next year. So, but that's always bad, man. You don't want to see people going down with injuries. And my ugly, the IWC's reaction to Jay White losing. What the freaking hell, man? They act like this dude losing one freaking match, suddenly he's buried, he's done. And here, look, I'll be the first person to say this. I would actually rather have Jay White have won. I think that I rather that something happened. Jay White actually won. He's going to win eventually here, guys. He's not been buried. The booking was a little weird on Full Gear, but they're acting like the dude's being treated like shit. He was in the main event of the pay-per-view.
I don't think he should have won. I just don't think MJF should have walked away from the things he was able to walk away on that fight.
I mean, if you're gonna play an injury angle, you need to play up the injury. Like when Bryan Daniels, like we were talking about how when Bryan Danielson or when Andrade and Buddy Matthews, because they were both coming off of big injuries when they had their match on Collision. They both played off about those injuries, those old injuries, man. And they played it off through the entire match. That's the way you should do it. Now, AEW is kind of notorious for that. And that's kind of a New Japan thing too, is that, suddenly, you're on a gimp leg and all of a sudden you're run around like a friggin' bat out of hell. I don't like that. I don't think that killed the match. But I get why people are pointing to that going, this is, Jay White should have been in control of most of that match.
And hitting him with title shots and diamond rings. It's not the result of how we got there. It's how we got there.
Well, here's the thing though, man. The fact that Max had to turn heel to beat him, I think that's a good thing. That's a storyline thing.
Yep.
That's Max reverting to type. So, I think, that's something that storyline wise you can address. I don't know if they're going to do that. But for me, the fact that he had to break the hero character to get the win, I'm actually okay with that. So I do think that the booking was a little uneven though. Like I get when Adam Cole came out during the tag match, he got a huge pop and everything, but the whole thing with Max, it didn't make any sense. Max can't wrestle because he's injured, but you're going to let somebody who's already injured take his place. That's stupid.
Yes,
I get that, but the idea that this vitriol that's coming on, and I think a lot of it is also coming off the back of the Ospreay announcement and everything. People are, Jay White was this great talent, and now he's being buried. A lot of the same people that are pissed off that Ospreay is going to AEW are the same people saying that.
We hear stuff like this after every pay-per-view from every company, like just never gonna change.
But it's just like I don't know why, but for some reason, like my feed has just been filled with this bullshit today. So
salt. It's because of salt.
I think it's just people looking for stuff to bitch about. But
Yep.
that's my GBU. I'm gonna give one a side good is Randy Orton officially returning.
Back.
He's back, and hopefully he's 100%. Hopefully he's healed up, and we get a couple more years with this guy before he decides to retire. But it's good to see him back. But
Yes, it is.
Johnny, you got anything you want to add, man?
Nah, let's move on.
Johnny's like, he's just way too chill, man. It's like, nah, I'm good.
It was a good day, despite everything that happened.
Yeah, it was good. But all right, let's go ahead and move on to our main event, to our main topic, the bidding war of 2024. We all know that next year there's a lot of contracts that are coming up. The five. Well, one is already available, so I didn't add Mercedes Moné into this, but they are going to be bidding for her. There's talk that WWE has reached out to her to come back because Triple H is he's looking to kind of rebuild the women's revolution over there. So we'll see. I mean, they kind of whole reason she left is because they disrespected her. So I don't know how far that's going to go, but she's definitely one of the big names. The other four, obviously, Will Ospreay's number one, MJF, Drew McIntyre, and Julia are the four biggest names that are being thrown around. And apparently Tony Khan has already sewn up two of them before the friggin' bidding war has even started.
That's right.
This last week, this last weekend, we saw that, and I was completely wrong, man. I said that I was up until like literally the day before. I said that there's no way it was going to be Ospreay because I'm like, there's no freaking way New Japan is going to let him go early. But as reports came out, Tony basically using his connections, going behind the scenes, even working his magic, and he cut a deal with New Japan. Ospreay was allowed to sign ahead of schedule. He will continue. Tony, I part of the reason I did that, I think, is because Tony made an agreement with them that Ospreay can he'll finish out his obligations to them before he comes to AEW. But
I don't even want to know how much money he spent on this contract.
Oh, dude, he had to drop a fat check in front of New Japan. And here's the other thing too. It's very possible that it may have been more than money, man. He may have made some promises to them. It's like, hey, maybe the next, I know that the next Forbidden Door is going to be in Canada again, if I'm not mistaken. But who knows, man? After that, he may have said, like, you know what? Let's do the next one in Japan.
I'm expecting a bunch of indie talent from the UK to show up in AEW a lot more.
Oh yeah, and I guarantee you that that's a big part of Ospreay signing with AEW, because we all know that he's really big into pushing wrestling in Britain. He's a partial. I know he's an investor. I think he might be a partial owner of RevPro because he's constantly doing stuff with RevPro. But rebuilding the wrestling industry in Britain has been a big part of Ospreay's, like one of his biggest goals. So I'm 100% that Tony's like, hey, I'm 100% behind that. Plus, we saw what happened, dude. The reception he got at freaking All In. Don't you us and Nana dance? Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna give that to you guys for Christmas.
You do? Wait a minute. Where'd that come from?
It was I can't remember what it was. I said if something happened, that I would do the Prince Nana dance. And I've actually got it's in my room upstairs somewhere. I got a turban to wear.
This is the greatest day ever.
Yeah. So I'm gonna give you guys that for Christmas. I was gonna do it after for Halloween, but a bunch of stuff happened and then I got sick and everything. So I was like, you know what, I'll put it on the shelf and save it. But before the end of the year, you'll get it. Maybe we'll do it. Maybe I'll do it at the at our best of for the end of the year. I'll go for that. But yep, I do it to you guys, and you will be getting it.
Yeah,
but
getting Will Ospreay. Plus, he can also do his New Japan and RevPro and whatever, which he wouldn't have been able to do with WWE.
Yeah, and like I said, Tony kind of like bent over backwards for him, man. He was like, "You don't want to move to the United States, you don't have to. You want to stay in England, that's fine." And I think Tony, another another part of their deal was that Tony's going to pay for his transportation. So whatever it's going to take for him to get back and forth, Tony's going to take care of it. But as far as the New Japan end of the deal, man, I wouldn't be surprised if he's like, hey, you want something like, because a lot of New Japan talent comes to AEW a lot. They come to AEW a lot. And we talked about how AEW, there's a couple of guys in AEW that go to New Japan, but the reciprocity isn't always equal. I'm pretty sure that New Japan's probably like, hey, we want some of this stuff. And we already saw one thing that's happening. We'll go touch on that in a little bit with the tournament and Eddie Kingston putting his ROH title up and his New Japan Strong Openweight Championship up. The report on that was actually inaccurate. They're not merging the titles. What they're saying is that whoever wins the Continental Classic, and that's another thing, is the winner of the Continental Classic is going to be kind of like what's the other tournament in New Japan? My brain just took a crap. The New Japan Cup. The winner of the New Japan Cup is basically a title, and you carry that title until the next year when the tournament happens again. The winner of the Continental Classic is going to be the same thing. So that'll be a title that's, it's yet another title, but this one's a little bit different though.
Just like the Owen.
Yeah, kind of like the Owen title. But the person who wins this title will become the first Triple Crown champion in AEW history, because you're going to basically, because you're putting both belts up, you're going to win all three of those titles. So, but the original report was they were going to merge them, and I was like, that's a freaking terrible idea. But yeah, so they're all three going to be up, so that's a cool thing. But getting back to the main topic, yeah, Tony absolutely, and every report coming out is that freaking Triple H is pissed. He is freaking pissed because, from his perspective, Tony basically pulled some backdoor moves and got in on this before it was supposed to be allowed.
Says the guy who was trying to poach his talent.
Well, see, that's what a lot of people brought up.
Yeah, like poaching William Regal before his contract was up.
Yep. Calling AEW talent and telling them, hey, when your contract's up, give us a call, which is something they're not allowed to do. And Tony actually made that comment. He might actually sue them for it. I think Triple H is just pissed that the top free agent for next year is already been snagged up.
Top two.
He's already lost Jay White.
Yeah,
even before that. So
yeah, he lost Jay White last year. He lost
MJF.
It's not 100% official, but all the people that are reporting Ospreay are saying that MJF has re-signed in secret. So that'll be a storyline. But yeah, we all expected that. We were like, there's no way he's putting that belt on a guy who's leaving in less than a year.
Ed said, "See ya." Ronda Rousey said, "See ya."
Yep. Yeah, dude. That was another thing. People were freaking out thinking that Ronda Rousey was going to sign with AEW, and apparently she's just on an appearance basis. But dude, I wouldn't put it past Tony to freaking snatch her up. But so right out the gate, 2 of the 4 are basically AEW. Ospreay is 100%. All the reports are saying that MJF is. Aren't we? Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. That's why I said like when the people were getting pissed, when people were backing up the story that Triple H was pissed off about it and saying that, yeah, man, it's, and like, of course, it's the IWC, man, so they're gonna pick their sides. Well, we lost Johnny. His power. Well, I expected it. His power has been going in and out. But they were all bitching and moaning, saying that Tony was playing dirty pool. And I'm like, Triple H, like literally just like 6 months ago, there was the report that they were calling people from other companies when they were still under contract for a year plus. And like, yeah, if you could get, and they were also telling them if they could get out of their contracts to do it. So, that's yeah, it's all's fair in love and war. But we know that, and then almost immediately here he is. I'm gonna nail you to the friggin' wall again, man.
Third world production value. Sorry about that.
It's okay. We understand, brother. But and then immediately, the thing that really made me think that Ospreay was going to be the guy that night, though, was when literally the same day the reports came out that WWE had renewed interest in Okada. And I went, wait a minute, you guys haven't talked. They haven't been trying to go after Okada for like a couple of years now. And it's like, what the hell's causing that? And then I went, oh my God. So
it sounds like such a petty child move.
Well, here's the thing: getting Okada is not a bad idea, but the thing was like, where did that come from? It just came out of the blue, and that's when I was like, oh, okay, something's going on here.
Would they treat him any better than they did Nakamura?
I think they would treat him a little bit better. I don't know that he would fare. I don't know that he'd be a world champion. I know that now that Triple H is firmly in charge because Vince, I think the writing's on the wall with Vince. I don't think he'll be on the board much longer. He sold off 8.5 million shares of and like I said, the whole stock thing that's going on with TKO. There's all kinds of different levels of stock. But the stock that he sold is like the top level stuff. It's the stuff that gives him, more creative control.
Right.
So he sold all that. He sold off about, I think they said something like 10%, 15% of the stock that he owned of that. So he still owns like 13, 14 million of that particular stock. But he did lose some of his clout. So,
well, she's coming to the email to see though. Julia is almost a done deal. You never know, but I think she's coming.
You think she's going to the E?
I think she is.
Yeah, I think, and especially after losing Ospreay, I think Triple H is going to basically pull out all the stops with her. Go ahead.
With the camaraderie that AEW has with New Japan. Like Triple H is like, we gotta start getting some guys from Japan, guys and girls from Japan.
Yeah,
they can't keep losing Japanese talent to AEW.
Yeah, especially like I said, I don't know how in depth everybody is with Julia, but she is literally one of, if not the best, women's wrestler in the world today. And she's young. She's really, really young. She's someone that you could hang your hat on for a while.
The problem is that Hunter has people he has to answer to when it comes to how much money he can spend on this.
True, and I think that's where Tony had a little bit of an advantage here because Tony wears all the hats in AEW, and he's also the money guy. So if he wants to push a little bit more money into another contract, he can do that. He doesn't have to answer to anybody. Hunter has to answer to the TKO board. So even though he has creative control, if he wants to, maybe pay, like say they were going to offer Julia $1 million a year. If he wants to up that and maybe make her like the highest paid female wrestler in WWE, he's got to pass that through the board. He can't just pull the trigger on that. He's got to, and on top of that, he's got to convince them. And most of the guys that are on the TKO board, they're not wrestling people. They came over from UFC, and even then, they weren't really fight people. They were bureaucrats. So and you know how it is, man. Getting bureaucrats to let go of money is tough. So, and that may be part of the reason why, like Tony, and I honestly, I do think that Tony knew that Triple H was going to pull out all the stops and he was going to drop every dollar he possibly could in front of Ospreay. And so that's why he went behind the scenes and he went and got this guy. He sewed him up immediately because AEW needed Ospreay. They absolutely desperately needed Ospreay.
Yes.
WWE could survive without him. It sucks that they're pissed. They wanted him because they know that, you know, if they, like I said, it was about what he wanted. Did he want to be the biggest star he could possibly be? Okay, then go to WWE. You want to have your freedom and put on these crazy matches and pursue these other pursuits that you want, like rebuilding wrestling in Britain. AEW is the place for you. Excuse me. But but like I said, with those two sewn up, that makes me think that they're going to go after the other two like twice as hard. So I'm saying I agree with you. I think Julia's going to the E. It's been clear that that Hunter wants to put together a Japanese faction, and we've already seen that beginning. You got 3 of the top Japanese stars all together in one place. But the other person that everyone's talking about is Drew. It's Drew McIntyre.
He hasn't signed. As far as we know, he hasn't signed.
He hasn't signed. It's actually been confirmed. He has not yet signed. He's been put into. He isn't joined Judgment Day. They made that very clear last night. He hasn't joined Judgment Day, at least not yet, but he's aligned with them. And they're putting him. They're basically reinserting him into the main event scene, not necessarily the world title scene, but the main event scene. With the situation with the Bloodline, Jimmy Uso, Jimmy and Jay. He also mentioned Cody last night as well. So, and here's the thing. It's really interesting. The fans are really behind Drew on the situation that they presented, because he's basically right as far as character work is concerned. You know, the Usos are the ones who cost him the chance to beat Roman.
Yep.
And so, but he's doing good character work. I think they're doing this. I think a big part of the reason why they're pushing him into this is to try to get him to resign. But from what I understand, and I think LA Knight is in the same situation. They're still real far apart on money. Now, LA Knight's got a lot longer on his contract. I think he's got over a year left. So I don't think he'll be up for to get out of to go anywhere else until late next year. So they've got time to work with him. But with Drew, it's counting down. They're down to about 6 months. So I think this is them trying to kind of like, hey man, and like, you know, yeah, maybe we're not where we want to be on money, but as far as everything else is concerned, look where you're at. You know, we're pushing you. You know, you're basically one of our top heels now. You're back in the main event scene. You know, the world, as soon as that belt comes off of Roman, the world title scene is going to open up. You know, but how long is it? You know, how long is that?
Whenever, you know, in whichever century that happens.
See, that's the thing, man. Like I said, like I really do think that they're going to make him. They're going to push it past Hogan's. I don't think he's dropping that belt until this time next year.
That's so exciting.
I know, dude.
Yeah,
what do you want me to tell you?
And if Julia were to sign with AEW,
Oh my God,
would freak out.
Dude, here's the thing. There's two things that have to happen in my personal opinion. You guys tell me what you think. Signing these people is number one. So signing Ospreay, major move, right move, good job. Retaining MJF, right move, good job. If you can snag Julia and Drew, if you could snag and you finally get Mercedes Moné, you've got all the tools you need to build to the future.
Yeah, being a billionaire must be so cool.
Yeah, but be able to just drop money on whatever you want. But here's the thing. Tony's got to pull the trigger the right way. That's the second thing. And lately, you know, we've talked about it. AEW seems very directionless. Because I think he put all of his eggs in one basket with Punk. So they've been very, very directionless. He's got to get back to what made AEW that, you know, the not necessarily the competitor, but the alternative to WWE. He's got to get back to doing what they were doing, which was long-term storylines. They got to find a direction. And
Right.
you and I talked about this. The guy, and I feel like the guy that put the emphasis behind is Will Ospreay.
Yeah. Come on, we all know that CM Punk's the devil.
Dude,
You're making it look like it.
dude, all those people that are let me put it this way. MLW Jacob Fatu's 45-minute match. Anyway, yeah, dude, that's a dude I was. So two people that I'm amazed that aren't being talked about more is Jacob Fatu and Alexander Hammerstone. Those guys are tailor made for WWE. I don't know why Hunter's not putting a huge emphasis on trying to get those guys.
I don't know why Sammy Callahan is still floating around.
Callahan isn't a typical dude, no, man. He's kind of cut from the same cloth as Mox. I fully think he's going to float around in the indies for a little bit because I think that's what he wants to do. But I know Moxley and who else? Moxley and someone else. They're pushing really hard to get Tony to sign him. So I expect him to show up in AEW. So I think Sammy's going to show up in AEW eventually. But dude, Jacob Fatu is one of the best friggin' in-ring workers there is, man. He's a big dude that can go. Hammerstone was designed for WWE, like literally designed for WWE. Dude, I was just actually thinking, man, can you imagine? That's the other thing too, man. Like I said, they're big guys, and Tony needs to, like I said, he's been a little bit better lately. I think because the Collision kind of opened his eyes a little bit on pushing big guys. That's why Joe's being pushed like he has been.
Even though it's at the expense of Keith Lee the way he was.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even Keith Lee's been used better lately. I still think that he needs to be used way better than he has.
Wasn't that so stupid? Beat him just to relinquish the title after.
Yeah, it was freaking dumb. And again, I don't know what's going on with Ring of Honor as far as what Tony wants for it at this point. I like Ring of Honor. I like the people in it. I think they got good matches and stuff. But like I said, Tony, we've said it before. We'll say it again. He's stretched too thin. His focus is it's all over the place. He's wearing too many hats. He needs to bring in people to run stuff for him, to run some of this stuff for him.
Yeah.
But getting back on the subject though, AEW has definitely won the first round. 100% hands down. They got the guy, the guy that was coming up in Will Ospreay. That is the guy that they need to build their company around going forward. We talked about how, like they talk about Sammy and Max, Jack Perry and
Darby
Darby being the pillars. No. Your pillars moving that company forward. I get Darby is crazy popular. Sammy's got talent. Okay. MJF is the only one. Like MJF said that one promo that one time when there was all four of them against each other. He's the only pillar that holds the place up. The four or five guys that I think you need to build your company around is MJF, Andrade, Will Ospreay, Malachi Black, and as far as the women are concerned, Tony Storm, and if you get Julia. We know because think about this. Adam Copeland, it's great that he's there. He's not going to be there for very long. He's only going to be there for a couple of years, and then he's going to retire. Bryan Danielson, he's going to retire next year, so you can't build it around him. You've got a crop of guys, Andrade Rush is another one that like you've got 4 or 5 guys that you could really build your company around. You've got the guys that could potentially be, Ricky Starks too. You've got the guys.
They're not Tony's favorites though.
That's the thing though. Tony needs to stop pulling his favorites. Jay White. Yes, exactly. MJF. Yeah. Maldacino. MJF, Andrade, Will Ospreay, Rush, Jay White. Like Jay White, in my opinion, if you're going to have Max be a tweener, Jay White needs to become your top heel. Jay White needs to become your number one top heel guy. because he's that freaking good. But you've got 5 or 6 guys that you could really make the nucleus of your company and push them and just go forward from there. The thing about hey Dylan, thanks for showing up, man. Appreciate it, bud. Wardlow is not what he used to be. He could be again. You gotta do him right. Like I said, that's the other thing. Tony needs to bring in somebody that knows how to work big guys. He's got 2 of the best big men in the business that he could pull from. So why he's not having them basically, show him how to book big men, I'll never understand. Paul White
he knows what he's doing in his head.
No, he doesn't.
In his head,
when it comes to booking big man, Tony doesn't know what the hell he's doing. But I'm gonna tell you what, friggin' Paul White put over Will Hobbs big this weekend, like big, and to the point where I was like, I'm worried that he might be hurt.
And they undid that with the duct tape thing.
What are you gonna do, man? Like I said,
I'm gonna complain. I'm gonna complain. That's what I'm gonna do.
Oh no, I understand. Like I said, there was good stuff that happened this weekend, some really good stuff, and then there was stuff that just made me scratch my head. Like, what the hell are you doing here? Yeah, too many false starts and stops with War Dog. But like I said, you can. He's not damaged to the point where he can't be rehabbed. Oh, dude, that friggin' that fall that Paul White took that like a champ, man. But he did what he should have done. He put over Will Hobbs. He made Hobbs look like a monster. And that's the way you push a big man. But now you gotta get him in the right matches and put the right belts on him, and you could have something really, really, really special with Will Hobbs. Same thing with Samoa Joe. Joe doesn't have a lot of time left, but he's still able to go. He's ridiculously popular. He's another big man that knows how to work. You've got the beef, man. Now you just got to figure out how to use it. But we'll wrap this up and then we'll talk about some other stuff. But overall, like right now, I think AEW's definitely taken a step ahead as far as the bidding war of next year. Hunter needs to snag. He needs Drew. He needs Drew, and he needs to push Drew the way that Drew needs to be pushed. He 100% needs Julia. I really think that. Because if Tony gets all of them, and let's face it, if they're going anywhere, they're going to AEW. Then that they basically that means that they took their foot off of AEW's throat after the Punk situation, and they let them get back into it.
Yep.
And like I said, there's 2 things. It's acquiring the talent and then booking it properly and doing what you need to do. Hopefully Tony does that. Meat. It's meat. Big men slapping meat. I don't care about matches now. I'm just hungry. It was an odd angle. It looked like Hobbs didn't quite get him all the way up, and the way he landed on the corner, partially on the windshield, and then on the corner of the car. From what I understand, he's okay.
Matches with guys like Paul and Saraya, and even sometimes Brian Dennison is the match that I don't want to watch live because I want to watch after I know that everyone came out of that war.
Okay.
Yeah.
But all right. Speaking of which, let's talk about Full Gear a little bit and what we liked and what we didn't like. So did you guys watch any of the
pre-show
stuff? The pre-show stuff?
Only Max and Joe.
Only Matthews and Claudio. Yeah. The match with Kingston and Lethal was okay. It wasn't great. Not sure what was going on there, but it was weird. It was kind of weird. Some weird storyline stuff going there too, but it was all right. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great. Claudio versus Buddy Matthews was good. It wasn't as good as some of the other matches that Buddy's had. And I don't want Buddy needs to stop losing.
Yes.
He needs to stop losing. Okay. I get that he's not the top guy in the House of Black and all that, but he's too good to be losing matches of this caliber. He needs to win a couple of them. So that one, I thought it was a good match. I didn't like the finish. I thought that Buddy Claudio could have dropped that and it wouldn't have hurt him. I did think it was funny that although we want mommy chants were going on. So I mean, dude, he's hooked up with Rhea Ripley, man. It's gonna happen, man.
They are using Buddy like how they use Dolph Ziggler for most of his run.
I don't think it's quite that bad, but I do think that because they let him because he dominated a lot, man. It was a really physical match. I mean, did you see how cut up they were by the end of that match? Claudio had a bunch of cuts on his shoulders and stuff, and on the side of his head. But him dropping to them almost every match it's not doing any good for him. The tag match. I was fine with the tag match until they did the whole injury angle thing. That was number one. Number two, Max is being overexposed.
Yeah.
He's being massively overexposed. Matt wrestling twice. I get it. I get what they're doing. They're trying to really get people behind him as a face, as a baby face. But I think this is actually doing more harm than good.
You just knew the main event was going to be overbooked the moment that happened too.
Yeah, that was the other part too. I was like, oh man, we're going to get some weird angle. What do you think, Frank?
You don't need him to have wrestle. This has been consecutive pay-per-views who's wrestling twice. Why? You don't need to do that.
Yeah, he's not to mention the fact that he's your champion. He's your top guy right now. He's got the belt. You need to be protecting him.
I think they're gonna keep this up until Adam's okay to come back.
If you need
Courtney.
If you need to feature the Ring of Honor tag titles, fine. Then take them off of Max and put them on somebody else.
Yes, and that's the other thing too. Is like, why are we letting one guy defend the tag belts, dude? If that's the case, then how come you took him off of Mark Briscoe?
We're doing that because Tony had an idea and he's not gonna change his mind. He's gonna wait until Adam's back. I'm sorry, it's just what it is.
You can't do that.
You shouldn't.
You're crapping on your friggin' title, man. It's not good. And having one guy beat teams is stupid.
It's like what Joe did with giving his title away. He doesn't care.
That was dumb. Yeah. That was another thing that was dumb.
Like he bought Ring of Honor. He doesn't really care about what's going on. He cares that he has it.
We said it before. We said it again. Too many belts, and especially if you're gonna treat him like that. Swerve and Hangman was wild. Swerve looked great. Yeah, and then Swerve going over was the right move.
Yes.
Yeah, he can't lose to he couldn't lose to Dracula. That would be weird.
I don't know why you didn't just have the Guns win those belts. So now you've got some gold on the Guns. I don't know. But the end of that match I thought was completely wrong. In fact, I would have liked it. The way I would have done it is Joe goes in there and he helps him out, and then right at the end, Max goes for a tag and he just kind of steps back and he's like, "Nah, man, I want you to lose because I want you to be in a place where I can beat you."
Yeah, sorry, but this story between MJF and Adam Cole is pretty much the only thing Tony cares about right now.
I swear to God, I am so over Adam. Oh my God!
Welcome to the club.
I just every time it's like fingernails on a chalkboard. Now I'm like, okay, it was funny for about 10 seconds. Now it's just stupid. That's an angle for 12-year-old boys. That's what that angle is. The three-way between Christian, Luchasaurus, Nick Wayne, Adam Copeland, Darby Allin, and Sting. The best thing about that match was the entrance when Copeland, Darby, and Sting all came out dressed exactly the same. That was pretty cool. That was a cool visual. I liked that. The match wasn't bad, but it wasn't great.
Yeah.
The two best things that happened was, like I said, the entrance, and then Christian just coming off like a piece of shit. So that was the best match. That was a suitable match. It wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible. International championship match, great match, wrong finish.
Yep.
I can't stand
Pockets
having that belt does nothing. It doesn't help him. I don't know. And here's the thing. All right, you don't want to put the belt on Moxley. I'm good with that. Moxley doesn't need the belt. Put the belt on someone that can use it. Put the belt on Andrade. Put the belt on freaking Miro. You know, all the guys that we just talked about that could be the next big thing. Roosh. Put the belt on those guys. Those guys can really use that belt. And you know, that's and also they can defend that belt in other places because that's the whole idea behind that title. Why are you putting it back on Pockets, who had it for what, a year and a half? It does nothing for him. It's stupid.
Does nothing to the ratings too.
No.
Exactly. So great match. Like I said, I'll give Orange Cassidy his friggin' props, man. The dude can go. He's a lot of fun to watch in a match. I just think keeping the belt on him is not. It's diminishing returns. AEW Women's Championship match: Hikaru Shida versus Toni Storm. Match wasn't particularly great. It was decent. It was okay. Definitely the right finish though.
Yes.
A lot of people are saying that they feel that her character is way too AEW. Hey, Leg Kick, what's up, brother?
What's up, man?
I think as far as character work is concerned, and people responding to it, her character is the best thing that's happened in the women's division in a long time.
That's the one thing they're getting right. Like, there's no reason to complain about that.
Yeah. Now the quality of the matches, you know, they're hit or miss, but as far as the character work is concerned, what they're doing with her is perfect. And I'm glad. And here's the other thing: they're not going back to the well with freaking Britt, which is good
So far,
yeah. I think do more of this, man. Because here's the thing with the women's division, they need to do something to really get some pop going.
I need Jamie back so bad, man.
She's supposed to be back soon.
Jamie and Mercedes.
Thunder Rosa. If she got, I heard that's another thing I heard too is that Sheeta might jump to WWE when her contract's up, but I think her contract's, she's still got like a year or so on her contract, so it'll be a while. But I wouldn't be surprised at that. I wouldn't surprise to see Sheeta go there. But if Julia comes, like I said, we talked earlier, if Julia comes to AEW, you know, there's another person you could build on, and she's a big personality too. So, but like I said, wasn't the greatest match. And part of that is because Toni Storm's playing like I said, she's playing her timeless character, but that's what's making people excited about that whole thing. So
that's entertaining, which is best in a lot of the stuff on those shows.
Yeah, and right now, like if the women's division becomes a little more flash and a little less substance, maybe that's a good thing. So because that seems to be connecting with people,
it's a reason to watch. That's already better.
Yeah. The ladder match for the World Tag Team Championship. This was a good fun match. The commentary team was a little sketchy in places on this. This is the match where I like this match, and then the TBS Championship match is when the commentary team I felt kind of dropped the ball a little bit. But dude, friggin' Big Bill versus Brody King. Dude, holy shit, that was awesome. That's the kind of big man thing you want to see, dude. So
I just want to know who pissed off who in the backstage area for them to actually try to kill each other with those ladders.
Oh my god. Oh dude, oh my
God. Did not look like they were working at all.
Dude, what was his name? Drillistico? I thought freaking was it Brody King that did that to Drillistico?
I don't. Might have been.
Dude, I thought he killed him.
Cash.
Dude, I thought dude, I legit thought I was like, well, he's dead, because the way his head landed on that ladder, I was like, well, his neck's broken. It has to be because your head doesn't bend like that. Yeah,
at least you shouldn't.
Yeah, it's here's the thing. you want to have ladder matches. That's great. I think they need to be few and far between. Because man, I'll tell you what, these guys, especially in AEW, they like to go for some crazy stuff, and they were hurting. There's definitely some people in the back after going, I need to talk to the doc now.
Thing is that they like to go for crazy stuff, and nobody seems to want to stop them.
Yeah, but my favorite part of that whole match was Dax versus Roosh. It's just two tough dudes just beating the shit out of each other.
Dax is just fantastic.
But this match, I'll tell you one thing that this match did. It really showed how far Ricky Starks has come. Because every time that dude was on camera, every time that dude was in the ring, and every time the camera was on him, dude, he was a star. He was a star. He was the best. And dude, and like, yeah, it was Brody King that did it to Drillistico on the ladder. Oh my god. Because I think the whole idea is the ladder was supposed to break, and it didn't. And I'm like, well, somebody get a casket.
Thanks for coming.
Yep, thanks for coming, dude. Thanks for putting on your body on the line. Hopefully, you're not going to be crippled when you're 50. But TBS Championship, this is a pretty good match. I do think that they put that putting the belt on Julia Hart was the right thing to do because, again, doing great character work. Maybe not the best in the ring, but good character work. Statlander's, I think she was kind of in a place where they didn't really know what to do with her because her character changed a lot when she came back. Maybe they're going to put her, maybe they're going to, take a breath and then down the line she'll go for the women's title. So we'll see. But no, I thought
they wasted Jade Strick, didn't they?
Oh yeah. Well, here's the thing. One, Jade Streak went on way too long.
Yeah.
It went on way too long. And the whole reason it went on so long is because Statlander got hurt because that was the plan all along, was that she was going to drop it to Statlander. And Statlander got hurt. And so they waited 5 or 6 months extra for her to come back. And so that kind of, but here's the thing. And this is actually, why do you think that WWE is not pushing Jade out? She's made a couple of appearances. She hasn't wrestled a single match. She made a couple of appearances, but that's it. And then she just disappeared. So one report is coming out is saying that she got there, they watched her work, and they were like, "Oh, she's goose shit."
I can believe that. Sure.
Yeah, I think she got there, and that's the thing too. We know that WWE has a style that they want people to work.
Yeah,
I think she got there, and they were like, "Oh, you need a lot of work. You need a lot of work in the ring," and I think that's why she hasn't. That's why she's not out there right now. But yeah, moving on from that, I think Julia Hart was the right move on that. The Texas Death Match, Hangman versus Strickland. Dude, this was arguably the best match. I think this was the best match on the entire show. I'm not real big into blood. I mean, like I said, I'm not the biggest into these hardcore death matches and things like that.
what?
But my God, man, Swerve Strickland's stock went up.
You wanna call me Squirmish week, whatever you want. That was too much for me.
That's what I said. I've never been a big fan of death matches, but
Come
dude,
on, Nick Gage. You're not a big fan of Nick Gage?
I like my pizza cutters on the pizza, not on people.
yeah, and this match, and by the way, there's a lot of people that are agreeing with you. They think that, some of the early going stuff like the stapling and the excessive blood, like they think that it hit the point between wrestling and garbage. And I think Excalibur himself said it. He said this is completely unnecessary.
Like once the guy started stapling himself, I was like, okay, this is just
it was. But like a lot of people are comparing this to Austin at WrestleMania 13 for Strickland, and I don't know if it's quite on that level, but I definitely think his stock went up with this.
A lot of people also say that Action Andretti was going to be the next John Cena after he beat Jericho. So let's calm down.
No, that was dumb.
Yeah, no. They need to start the "She's Coming" vignettes like they did with Veer Mahan for
Oh
Jade.
God, no! Don't
When
do
they
that.
start when they start those, then that should be ready to go. She's
Yeah,
coming.
yeah. No, I agree. Leg kick. I think they should have taken the belt off of Roman at last WrestleMania, but what do I know? And yeah, Jay did defend it way more than he did, but so the next match was one that I was very kind of meh about, and that was Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho versus the Young Bucks, the Golden Jets versus the Young Bucks.
Yes.
The match itself was
I can't with this. We're your friends, not him angles anymore. I can't. I just can't.
yeah, I just
Sick of them.
it was not a bad match. It was actually a pretty good match, but why and obviously this is leading to some kind of storyline because that whole thing where the Bucks are talking about leaving and all that stuff like that's bullshit.
Jay,
They're turning him heel.
Yeah, oh yeah, they were definitely heels by the end of this friggin' match. And in fact, I think they might end up going to Don Callis. I love Chris Jericho, but it is becoming more and more and more obvious that he just cannot go the way he used to in the ring. He just can't do it. Love the guy to death. And him teaming with Kenny Omega is like, I understood it for the Don Callis thing. Why are we continuing to push this thing? I'm just very indifferent to Jericho's storyline right now. Why aren't they doing more stuff with the former JAS? That's where his storyline is. What is this shit?
We're because we're getting another title run for Jericho with the tag titles.
Oh boy.
oh, I am sure they were gonna have the Bucks beat FTR if the Cash hadn't got hurt.
I think so too. So then the last match, and we'll wrap this up real quick. Adam Cole versus Jay White was not a bad match. Was not a great match. I think the wrestling was good. The storyline is what had me going, what the hell's going on here? I understand why some people are upset that Jay White didn't win. I wanted Jay White to win. I understand why they didn't do it. I don't think Jay White was buried. I just think the storyline, on this night, the storyline was dumb.
Yes.
Because you have a guy who's injured, he can't wrestle because he's injured, but we'll let this other injured guy wrestle. He'll do it. And then of course, like I said, the way that the match went down, Max no selling his injury. I get it. That happens in New Japan style matches a lot, but this is AEW, and if you're going to do that, if you're going to work an injury angle, work the injury angle.
I didn't think for 1 second Jay was gonna win, and I was fine with that. It was the way we got there that was the problem for me.
Yeah. So I like this is some of the worst booking. As far as the structure of the match was concerned, I like the finish. I know a lot of people don't like the finish because Max had to turn heel to win. I like the fact that he had to turn heel to win. He had to revert to type to be able to win. So I like that. I actually like that because I think that feeds into the storyline between him and Adam Cole.
So long as he's doing that to bad guys, it works.
Yeah, and well, I think it would be better if he did it against the face, because because the whole idea behind Max's character is he's a bad guy who's trying to be good. That's it. He's a bad guy he's a heel trying to be a face. And I would like it. I think it'd be more. I think his storyline would be better and be more drama if eventually he just failed.
Eventually, that's not the point.
Yes, I said eventually he fails. So,
yep.
But that was Full Gear. Like I said, it had some ups, had downs. It'll be interesting to see what happens going forward. I know that Tony at least seems to be trying to get back on track. Whether they get there, trying. Now let me ask you guys a question, Frank. I'll start with you. Where do you want to see AEW go at this point? Knowing that Ospreay has been signed, at MJF has probably been locked up for at least the next 3 or 4 years. Where do you want to see Tony go with everything after Full Gear?
Where do I want to see it go?
Yeah. We'll start with Ospreay. Should he push Ospreay? In my opinion, Ospreay should be the world champion within a year. By the end, like you gotta have Max drop the belt probably to Jay White. I want to see Jay White get his run.
Put Will Ospreay over. Take the title off of Pockets. First thing I would do.
Yep, that's what I would do.
Take the international title off of Pockets.
Gotcha.
Done. Like Pockets. See ya.
Yeah, appreciate the work you put in, man. I like watching you wrestle. You don't need that belt anymore.
And have not Jay White, have Will Ospreay defending that title like MJF has with the make it the second, make it relevant for him, so we elevate him to the world title picture with the international title. I don't know what this whole thing is going on with the Continental Classic. I don't know how that all is going to work out. It's hard to say until we see what happens.
Yeah.
with the finals with that.
Plus, it also depends on who wins.
Yeah. And then
what about the women's division? What do you want them to go with that?
Keep the titles on the two they have right now with Toni Storm and Julia Hart. Have Julia Hart in her feuds with
Sky Blue
and Willow Nightingale in them. Toni Storm maybe with Ruby Soho and Saraya.
Yeah, I would throw Statlander in there as a challenger. I don't think you'd put the belt on her right now. You got to figure out where you're going with her character.
Statlander move, just get some, especially if I would, if she's coming back beginning next year, keep it on Toni Storm versus Mercedes.
Mm-hmm.
Sign me up.
I think Mercedes will probably be the one to take it off of her if she comes there. If not her, maybe Thunder Rosa.
The only caveat in that is what happens with Julia. If she signs with E, then whatever. If she signs with AEW, Toni Storm versus Julia.
Yeah.
Gimme.
Yeah. And then what about sorry, excuse me. What do you think about where they go with Jay White and Bullet Club?
If Juice wasn't injured, I'd have put the tag titles on him and Jay White.
They need to win something.
Yes, that's why, as I said the freaking Guns should have beaten Max and Samoa Joe for the ROH tag team titles. They need some gold. And,
if you want to give a title to Jay White, have him take the Ring of Honor off of Eddie Kingston.
I could see. Now, here's the thing. I could see Jay winning this the Continental Classic.
I'm fine with that.
Holding a Ring of Honor title almost makes me not take you seriously at this point.
Dude, have you seen the reaction that Eddie gets every time he walks out to the freaking crowd?
That's because it's Eddie, not because of the title.
Oh, Malice says, "Oh, sweet baby, no, I dropped my road Pepsi. Take Frank, he's too beautiful for this world. Anyway, not my Pepsi." You drop your road drink, man. That kind of sucks. But yeah, and like who as far as Max's title run is concerned, what do you think? I mean, who do you have take it off of him? Do you have Ospreay win that belt, win the world title within a year, or do you wait a little longer?
I don't have a problem with Will Ospreay winning the title. What happens with MJF is they're going to push this free agency thing with 2024. Even though we believe he's already signed, they're still going to push that.
Yeah, it's going to be a storyline.
It's going to be a storyline, and it's going to coincide with whoever is the devil.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry.
I think Samoa Joe is taking the title off of MJF, the next person.
You think it's Joe? Now, one thing that's been floated is that the devil is Ospreay. I don't think so, because I think that they're going to want to. I think he's going to be kind of a tweener, kind of like a tweener face, because that's kind of the reaction that he gets. I wouldn't put it past him, because when he was full on heel the last 2 years, he was freaking awesome. Dude, if the devil's Jack Perry, I'm gonna be pissed.
I hope not. The devil needs to be Adam Cole, and the henchmen need to be Strong and the other guys.
Yeah, Kyle O'Reilly, Roderick Strong.
Kyle O'Reilly, Bennett, and what's his name?
Yeah,
Matt
Taven.
Yeah.
The Kingdom.
Yeah, those need to be the henchmen for the devil, who's Adam Cole.
Yeah, and he's a lot of people's like, well, that's too obvious. Sometimes obvious is okay. Sometimes obvious works. The devil is hornswoggled. Dude, I'm gonna tell you what, man. What's his name? His name? Dylan. I can't remember his last name. But that dude's based as hell, man. I like that dude. But Johnny, what do you think, man? What do you want to see out of AEW going next year?
I'm not even sure, man, because it's so much thing to handle. Like with Max, I think they're gonna push this far longer than they should.
Possible.
With the tag titles, I don't think they're gonna be in Bullet Club as early as like beginning of next year at least. Like maybe the trios titles, and then somebody is gonna be offer something, or maybe they get the trios titles and Jay goes for the singles. I don't know.
Yeah, I definitely think I agree with you, Frank. I think they got to put some gold on Bullet Club Gold. They got to put some belts on them. They got to give them some. They got to give them some stress, some stroke. I think you're right. I think it is going to be Joe that takes the belt off of Max. I think the Kingdom. I think the Devil's going to weigh heavily into that, and it can't be Jack Perry. If it's Jack Perry, F you, Tony. That's the stupidest thing. It's the wrong move. Ospreay, I think the international title is perfect for Ospreay. Let him hold that for a while, and then maybe go after the world title at the end of the year, and then this time next year maybe he'll be the world champion, or beginning of the year of 2025 he's the world champion. But I definitely think that's the guy you need to build your company around. As far as the women are concerned, I think they did the right thing. I think they need to lean heavier into characters and more stuff like Tony Storm's doing. Like I said, with sometimes symbolism over substance is better. So I think they need to put some kind of energy into the women's division to get it going. But as far as all the other stuff is concerned, man, I don't know that Tony's ever going to relinquish control to the point where other people are, he's listening to other people more. But we'll see. Well, he's made the right. He took the right steps in the beginning here. He locked up Ospreay. He's more than likely locked up Max. If he can get one or two of those other two those big names, Mercedes is. We keep saying Mercedes is a lock. I don't think she is. I think she's more inclined to go to AEW, but who knows what she's going to do. But if he can get one or two of those others.
Sorry to cut you short. I'm gonna have to run here.
It's all good. It's good, Johnny. You take off, brother.
Yeah. Bye.
Appreciate you being here. We'll talk to you next week.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Dude, dude, you laugh at that, man. I'm telling you, look, whether you like it or you don't like it, whether you agree with it or you disagree with it, they need some flash in the women's division. They need some heat. They need some flash. So,
next year, All In.
Mm-hmm.
Main event. I don't know who he's going to be going up against, but it's going to be Will Ospreay for the title.
I think so too. I think whoever holds the world title when All In time comes around, whether it's Joe or maybe Adam Cole's back at that point and he takes it or something, whoever it is, it's going to be them versus Ospreay, and Ospreay's going to win. Yeah, because dude, like I said, that's the guy you need to friggin' hitch your wagon to. So, but anyway, we're way over time here, guys. There's just so much to talk about right now.
Survivor Series this Saturday, baby.
Yep. Yeah. Me and Frank, we will be doing live reactions to Survivor Series this Saturday. Hopefully we'll get a couple people with us. I'm gonna talk to Justin, see if we can get him there.
War Games.
The return of Randy Orton, baby. I'm actually kind of excited for this now. I'm glad to see Orton back. It'd be interesting to see what they do with him. Yeah. Mouse says, "Who's laughing?" I bought into the Nitro Girls and the Divas Bikini VHS when they were loved. Dude, that's what I'm saying, man. Like I said, sometimes Flash is better than substance. So, dude, I like Randy Orton. Randy Orton's a good dude. And I definitely didn't want to see him go out the way he did. So, but yeah, we'll be there this Saturday. If you guys, hopefully you guys come hang out with us a little bit. We'll be promoting that through the week. I keep telling you guys we're going to be doing more stuff, but it's coming, guys. It's slow, but it's coming.
It's tough this week with Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Yep, that's the other
Thursday,
thing too, guys.
It's going to be tough this week with that.
Yeah, everybody that's going to be celebrating, take care of yourselves, be with your family, be safe. We'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Gobble, gobble, baby.
Gobbledygooker.